for the exam so that on the day of the exam itself you tak adalah terkejut macam why is it like this? Okay. So this is more so that you guys are prepared on what will come out, not the questions per se, but the format and everything. Okay. And then seeing that the second question too is on duties and remedies of trustees, what I plan on doing is I have distributed a past year question, right? We'll be looking at question number 2. I'll guide you guys in terms of how to answer that type of questions, how to identify issues, how to tackle it and stuff like that lah. Okay? So if are you guys ready? Should I start now? Yes. Okay. All right. Okay. So as you all know, your final exams for Trust Law 3331 is on the 13th of July 2023. Okay, so it is at 9 a.m. Very good timing. Your brain is supposedly fresh lah. Time ni you can memorize better, right? So 13th of July. As I have not barred any of my students from taking the exams, so by right, students from section 1 patutnya semua should be able to attend the final exams, okay? But I've heard from other sections ada yang bar, so let's leave it at that. So the questions that you will be facing, as you all know, you have done your midterms, right? Your midterm is on, if you remember, it was on 3 certainties. So bila 3 certainties dah keluar kat midterms, it will not come out for your final exams. But that being said, that means everything else will come out, okay, apart from 3 certainties. So part A, the questions will be divided into 2 parts. Okay, we have part A and part B. So part A will be dealing with topics, all of the topics from Constitution of Trust onwards sampailah unit trust. Okay, commercial trust sebenarnya tak keluar, wakaf tak keluar. I think I can already safely say that. But so that leaves until secret trust, protective trust. So all of that will be covered under part 1. Okay, there will be 2 questions. You will have to choose one of those 2 questions from part 1. Okay, so part 1 will consist of 25 marks. Okay, part B pula will be on purpose trust onwards until the end that we have studied with Dr. Mohsin. Therefore, it is purpose trust sampailah remedies of breach of trust. Okay, so this one, there's only one question. You have to attempt that question. It will be 25 marks because so part A is 25, part B is 25. So together it becomes 50 marks. So your chem is 50, exam 50. Cukup lah. All right. So the duration of the exam is 15 minutes reading time and 2 hours, 15 minutes answering time. So knowing this, right, please be mindful of your time. Okay. Meaning, how do you divide nak answer question part A and part B? Because most often the past few semesters I've been dealing with this subject, selalu people they start macam dumping all of the knowledge they've studied dekat part 1 tu, kat part A, lepas tu part B tak jawab. So gone 25 marks. Okay, 25 marks is a lot, yeah. Kalau you berkira sangat time quiz and time your midterm just half a mark, 1 mark pun dah berkira. Lagi-lagi kalau if you don't even answer part B, 25 marks gone. Okay, so there are no electronics allowed in the hall. The only material you're allowed to bring is your Trustee Act 1949. Okay, so please make sure there are no annotations, no writings on your Trustee Act. I will be invigilating for my section. I am the main, what do they call it? Chief Invigilator for my section, section 1. Last semester I've been a bit lenient in terms of allowing students, kalau I jumpa pun they have written in their Trustee Act, I padam satu-satu. Lepas tu they come up with all this excuse, oh my senior, I borrowed from my senior yang tulis, I tak tahu. Kalau you bawa drugs, you rasa you boleh ke guna that excuse? Okay? So please, even if you borrow, don't write on your trustee act. I will not be as lenient like last time. You tulis, the moment there's tulisan in your trustee act, I will take it away. You will still be able to do your exams, but you will not have your trustee act with you, regardless. So no annotations, you tulis kecil-kecil mana pun, I'm wearing my glasses, I can see. Okay? I will erase it. And I will not give you back your trustee act throughout the whole duration of the exams. Okay, so warning dah. Next. Okay, so this is the one that I said just now. Part A, Constitution of Trust, resulting constructive secret trust, protective trust, 25 marks. Part B, it can cover both purpose trust, power and duty of trustee, breach of duties, and remedies available for the beneficiaries. Okay, so 25, 25. Okay, so let's just take a brief, yeah? Kita brief what we have covered so far when we looked at this whole topic of law of trust. So when it comes to constitution of trust, I'm going very fast, okay? Just so that macam I dah cover semua the constitution of trust. We have seen that a trust, even though it fulfills the three certainties, for it to be enforceable, it has to be completely constituted, right? So how can a trust be completely constituted? You refer to the case of Milroy and Lord. It's either by a declaration by the testator declaring himself as a trustee, or there has to be effectual transfer. So what is meant by effectual transfer? You can refer to the case of Rose. Okay, Rose will tell you what amounts to effectual transfer. So it's basically if the trustee has done all he could do in terms of transferring the trust property in the name of the trustee, right? So what is the effect of an incompletely constituted trust? If the trust is not completely constituted, i.e. it does not fulfill the conditions, right? Under Milroy and Lord, it will fail. The trust will fail. It will become a resulting trust. It will revert back to the estate of the testator, right? Or if the testator is not, then back to him lah. Okay. So, however, right, if there is effectual transfer and there is a stranger involved, it can still be saved. An incompletely constituted trust can still be saved if it falls under any of the three exceptions, right? So we have looked at donatio mortis causa, the rule of Strong and Bird, proprietary estoppel, right? We have looked at those three exceptions. So for example, if you were to face a question, right, facts inside part A, which talks about you feel that there is an issue in terms of the transfer of the trust property in the name of trustee, then it should highlight you terus macam this means there's a possibility that this trust is not completely constituted. If you have applied Rose and Betul, there is no trust, the trust is ICT, then you have to try to see if it falls under any of the three exceptions. If itu pun you cannot prove, only then you will say your conclusion will be that the trust will be reverted back as a resulting trust. Okay, so that is the chapter on constitution of trust. Number 2, resulting trust. Okay, we have looked, right? There are two types of resulting trust, automatic and presumed resulting trust. Automatic is basically when the three certainties too has failed, right? Or the trust is incompletely constituted, we say that it automatically returns back, right, to the testator. Okay, itu is under the first category, automatic resulting trust. Another one is presumed resulting trust. There are certain situations where it can be presumed that this person is holding it as a trustee under resulting trust. For example, we have seen the cases of mutual will, right? If you have created a mutual will, if one person was to pass away and the will is still effective, this other person is deemed to be holding the property under the will as a trustee. Okay? All right. So that is the topic of resulting trust. So situations where resulting trust ni will come probably be you have proven that there is ICT, right? There is ICT and it does not fall under any of the three exceptions. So perhaps there is automatic resulting trust. Okay? All right. So that is the topic of resulting trust. We will now move on to constructive trust. So constructive trust is, you cannot deny it is very complicated. It's quite complicated. It's complex. You have to take into consideration so many things. There has been instances where if you have some of my tutorial students, I have given a question whereby one of the party is a constructive trustee. Remember? So whenever sometimes we talk about a, a trustee who has breached his duty, right? Either he has breached his duty with the involvement of a third party, sometimes through apa, knowing receipt or assistance, right? Knowing assistance. So this person will be a trustee disontot. Okay. So in the question number 2 pun kadang-kadang when we are talking about, we're trying to identify, oh, this trustee has breached his duty with the assistance of this third party. This third party can be a trustee disontot. So now he is a constructive trustee. So let's say tiba-tiba in question number 2, fact shows that this third party has spent the money here and here and here and here. So you want to do tracing. Right. So tracing can still be applicable when we are dealing with issues involving constructive trust. Okay, that's why it gets a bit complicated. So you cannot just read it on its own. Sometimes it stands with other topics as well. Okay, so under constructive trust, it can fall under it can either fall under operation of law, right? Institutional, meaning there's a breach of fiduciary duty, as we saw just now. This person is a trustee, will become a trustee, and then it could also be remedial. Okay. Next is secret trust. Secret trust is the easiest to me. Secret trust is when a person, he creates an express trust. He creates an express trust, but there's elements of secrecy. Either there is declaration of trust, but nobody knows what is the details of the trust. We call that a half secret trust. Or he doesn't even want to tell people that he has created a trust, but in his will, he just says he wants to give it to this person, not declaring that he has actually appointed that person as his trustee. Only himself and the trustee knows that person is actually a trustee and not a beneficiary. It's not a gift. Okay, so you will have to identify when it comes to secret trust ni, is it a full secret trust or a half secret trust? And then once you have made that distinction, you will then have to look at the requirements if it fulfills any of the requirements for half secret trust and full secret trust. Okay, so that is for secret trust. So maybe you will be faced with situations where this person has facts of the case. I mean, we have done tutorial questions on secret trust, so you should be able to see at the facts. Because you see, in the exams, it will not actually say, okay, identify the type of secret trust involved. No, you have to look at the facts and then you have to identify yourself. Oh, this question, it seems like there is a creation of secret trust. How do you prove that there is secret trust? And then you have to look at the facts lah. If the facts indicates that this person has created a trust, an express trust, but nobody knows what the details are, then it is an indication that it's a secret trust. Okay, then you have to see whether it's a full secret trust, half secret trust. If there is a full secret trust, it's quite hard to prove, right? So if there is no intention, you cannot fulfill that there is an intention or there's no acceptance by the trustee to actually act as a trustee, then the trust will fail and the trustee will accept will be deemed as a beneficiary. I mean, the will state he wants to give this house to, let's say, Ahmad. There's actually a full secret trust, but you cannot actually fulfill the requirements of full secret trust. So Ahmad will be deemed as the recipient of the house, and he has no duties whatsoever attached to that house. Okay, so secret trust is very easy. I hope you guys, kalau lah nampak questions on secret trust, please do it. Right, easy to score. All right, and then it comes the next thing that I think this was under Dr. Zahidul, protective trust. So if you guys know, protective trust is also another type of trust. It's an express trust where a person can create to protect his property from a beneficiary who is, what's the word in English? But in Malay we call them boros, spendthrift, right? They don't know how to take care of their money. There will be situations where let's say this person has created a trust or created a will. He said, okay, this is a trust in favor of my daughter, all right, Khadijah. Khadijah, he knows that Khadijah is a spendthrift. She does not know how to take care of her money. So there's a concern that if, let's say, she was to go bankrupt, if Khadijah later in the future goes bankrupt, it will affect the trust because she is a beneficiary to the trust. So a trustee is allowed to create, for example, like a condition saying, in the event Khadijah becomes bankrupt, she will be absolved from her right to claim from the trust. She can no longer be a beneficiary. So that is a protective trust. Okay, how it is formed, the features of it, the purpose of the trust is the purpose of protective trust is basically to protect the trust itself lah, from spendthrift beneficiaries. So this is actually allowed under the Trustee Act, right? So please refer to the provision on protective trust inside your Trustee Act on the features and how it should look like and everything. So you can prove that it's a protective trust or not. So this is in the event it comes out in the question, in the exam question, you tak ada terkejut, right? Okay, so that goes part A. Okay, part A of your exam. Okay. Part B now covers on purpose trust, i.e. charitable trust, non-charitable purpose trust, and CPA. Okay, wakaf is not going to come out. But there might be macam suddenly we throw some questions yang macam wakaf, so does this mean is wakaf? No. Sometimes it's just there to distract you. Okay, so we have learned charitable trust is a type of trust which is created for a purpose. It's not necessarily for a beneficiary. Okay, so as long as you can prove that even if the beneficiaries are uncertain, right, meaning it does not conform to the 3 certainties rule, but you can say that the purpose is charitable in nature, then the trust can still be valid. So what is charitable? We have looked at cases, right? We have looked at the preamble, which says that it can fall under one of the 4 heads, right? So there's relief of poverty, there's advancement of religion, advancement of education, and then other beneficial purposes, right? So those are the 4 heads. And then the most important part is that the most important point that you need to remember is in terms of public benefit, right? So apart from the first head, which is on relief of poverty, when you look at the trust, you always have to determine whether there is public element or not. Okay, it has to benefit the public. Only then it can be beneficial. It can be charitable. If it only benefits a certain class of people, then the charitable trust can be invalidated. So, for example, right, we will see after this, under part 2, that you will probably have to determine the validity of the charitable trust. You have to identify the type of charitable trust, under which head does it belongs to, and then you have to determine whether there is actually a valid For example, trust for the purpose of relief of poverty, or for advancement of religion. Suddenly you look at the facts, the public benefit element is not there. So you can say that you can safely say, because the element of public benefit is not there, the charitable trust is invalid. Okay. So those are situations where the question might come out macam tu lah. So you can look at past year questions. I've given you the past year question, so you can check it out. Okay. All right. So let's say the charitable trust has failed. Okay, either because there's initial failure. I mean, I think you guys all know this, right? Because you studied for test hari Rabu hari tu. So if your trust was to fail, your charitable trust was to fail, initial failure or subsequent failure, you can still try to save it through SIPRE. Okay, so SIPRE is a right, the power of the court. So it's not on the trustee to actually apply SIPRE and just, try to invalidate a charitable trust through that. No, it is the trustee will have to go to court, seek the court's direction, right, to determine whether the trust can be saved or not. Okay? Right? And then we have looked at NCPT. So NCPT is also another type of purpose trust, whereby there are certain situations where it does not fulfill the element, it does not fall under any of the four heads, but the court still allowed it to exist. Okay, so the reason why the court has allowed it to exist is purely because courts in the past had allowed it to exist. So it's through, I guess, they are not righting a wrong, they're just accepting it as it is. Okay, so there are a few situations whereby a, a purpose trust, which is not charitable in nature, can still be valid. Right? So we have looked at ada yang macam preservation of tombs, or the purpose is for a specific animal, right? So those are among the things which can still be valid. But even then, even if it falls under those category, you still have to see whether it breaches the rule against perpetuity, right? So let's say if he creates a trust in favor of his favorite donkey, right? So we know it's only that particular donkey, but if he was to create it beyond 25 years, right? So that should be a basis to invalidate the purpose trust, because it has infringed the rule against perpetuity. Rule against perpetuity is only 21 years. Okay? All right. So we're done with purpose trust. So usually purpose trust and trustees, the question will come together. Okay, so please anticipate question on purpose trust, even though it has come out in your quiz, but it will still come out in your exams. And then we have, okay, so now this is the hard part. This is the part where Ramai kecundang, okay, which is on the powers and duties of trustee. So we will look into it after this. For my tutorial slot, right, I have given questions, but the the breach too is fiduciary in nature, right? So there's either the trustee was involved in self-dealing, or he had obtained secret profit. So those are breach of fiduciary duty. So today, what I will do after this is we will look at questions which involves breach of statutory duty, meaning duty to invest, duty to distribute, and all of that. Okay, I feel that I still have to cover this with you guys in case it comes out in the exam. Okay, because I don't think it's sufficiently dealt with in the tutorial that we did last time. And then I know Dr. Mohsin has also covered on, he did some calculations with you, right, during the last class, the last lecture we had on Wednesday. But what he did was he just gave you some hypothetical numbers and then how to do it, right? But since we have the question with us, then you will hopefully see how we apply those rules, the FIFO rule, first in, first out, when there's mixture, how do you do all of that? Okay, so we will see after this. Okay, so powers and duties. Whenever one person has the duty, that means the other person, the beneficiary, that is his right, right? Okay, so the duty statutory duty of a trustee is to invest. Okay, so this relates to their duty to ensure that there's enough funds for the beneficiaries to distribute. So this tallies together with duty to distribute. Okay, duty to maintain equality among beneficiaries. It falls under that because for the money to grow, because if you keep distributing, right, every month you distribute 5,000, 5,000, 5,000. If this person has 1 million, eventually the money will finish, right? So to make sure that you know that under beneficiaries we have two categories, right? We have life tenant and we have the remainder man. So when it comes to trustee, they have duty for both life tenant as well as remainder man. Okay, so to make sure that even the second generation of beneficiaries can benefit from the trust, they have to make sure that the money grows. How can you grow your money? Through investment. Okay, but of course when it comes to investment it is very risky, right? It's that's how it is. That's why the law had tried to regulate, right, to monitor on what type of investments can a trustee be involved in when they want to invest trust properties. Okay, so that's when section 4, section 5, section 7, section 11 comes into play, because it will dictate, those sections, those provisions dictate on where can a trustee invest trust property. Okay, you rely on those provisions if the trust property does not mention on how should those property be invested. If let's say dalam the trust deed dah tulis, Ahmad, you need to invest it by investing it through Bitcoin or by this. So the trustee must follow the instructions as laid down in the trust document. If the trust document is silent, then the trustee must rely on provisions under Trustee Act. Okay? So do take a look at your Trustee Act, Section 4, Section 5, Section 6, 7, 11. Familiarize yourself. There's all these macam some type of investments yang it sounds, because I don't expect you guys to know what are those investments because you bukannya main saham ke apa kan. So what you should do, you just Google it. Okay, you Google it, familiarize yourself with how it could come as. Macam there's a few on unit trust. So as a trustee is allowed to invest under unit trust. I believe it's under section 6 ke apa tak? But then the unit trust must be backed with something. Okay, must be approved. So you have already studied unit trust with Dr. Zahidul last time. So this should not be an alien concept to you. Okay. So we have talked about, we have looked at the powers and duties of the trustee when it comes to investment, right? Duty to distribute, duty in terms of managing the trust property, right? So we have looked into that. And then, of course, it being a problematic question, there will be somebody who did something wrong, right? Either the trustee did not invest the trust property properly, or he did not even invest it, or he had refused to give money to the beneficiaries. So what would be the remedies available to the beneficiaries? Or in certain circumstances, maybe the question will say there are many trustees and only one trustee is the one who's doing all these bad deeds of not doing anything. The other trustees are, we can call them sleeping trustees. They're very passive, they don't do anything. So do we implicate them as well? So all of those questions might come out in the exams through like the facts. So you will have to see if you want to apply these remedies, who can apply for the remedies? Can the co-trustees apply for the remedies as well in against the defaulting trustee, or is it just by the beneficiaries? Okay, you will have to see lah. So we have looked into personal remedy, right? Personal remedy meaning you sue the bad trustee, right? The trustee who has breached his duty. If not, then you can find the money through tracing, right? So there are requirements when it comes to tracing. Tracing comes under two parts, yeah? There's common law tracing, there's equity tracing under equity. So tracing under common law is quite restrictive, but because it's restrictive, we can apply tracing under equity, right? So there are requirements that you have to fulfill. So amongst the requirements is you have to prove that there is a breach of fiduciary duty. Number two, that the trust property is still there, right? It can be traced. And number three is not against what policy, I think. The third one, I can't remember. All of this here, just a reminder, please memorize your authorities. It's quite annoying when you say, in a decided case, and then you bagi very general facts and then very general principle. Okay? Sometimes terlebih kreatif, you make up your own facts. Then you make up your own principle just because it's common knowledge yang, oh okay, the trustee has duty to invest. Kan? It's a general statement. So tiba-tiba you bercakap, in a decided case, it was decided by the court that it is the duty of the trustee to invest. Macam, I will not accept that, yeah, those type of authorities. Please memorize the name of your authorities. If you cannot memorize both plaintiff and defendant, just one name is okay. But, and then if you still can't remember, please be as descriptive as possible when it comes to the facts. Okay? I don't want to see all these very general principles. Okay, so principles when there's, okay. So when there's commingling of funds, for example, when let's say the trustee has taken money, he has a bank account, so it's his own personal bank account. He has, in his duty to manage the trust property, he has taken the money from the trust and he has put it in his own account. So there's commingling of funds. So that is a breach of duty. You see many politicians who do that. Politicians kat Malaysia ni, they take I think you guys know already what case. There's a case going on where he has put his money and the political party punya money, he took it out from the political funds, he put it inside his own bank account. Right? So he claims, no, this is political money but it's okay. My money is here, lepas tu money tu hilang. Kan? So when he does that, he is actually a trustee, right? For the money held by the political party. When you commingle, and then let's say when you spend, right? Suddenly you spend money from from your bank account. Do you spend the trust money first or do you spend your money first? Right? So Dr. Mohsin has already covered that, right? Meaning you have to determine, because at the end of the day, you have to determine how much can the trust claim from that account. Okay, because if let's say they dah spend the trust money, he went on a holiday. So he paid for makanan, he paid for all those things. Now those things cannot be traced anymore. It's gone forever. Kan? So the trust will be at loss because it can't be traced. So, but if you can prove that no, he spends his money first, the trust money is still in the account, then the trust can just take the money inside the account and not touch the other person's money that has been spent on the holiday. Okay? So you have looked at, all these cases, Re Clayton, Re Otway, which talks about betul lah, the rules. Okay, so we're going to look at it after this. So that is basically what we have studied for the whole 14 weeks of you being in IIUM under Laws 3331. Okay? So any questions here? If not, kita terus proceed. You can look at the questions, yeah? This is from 2 years ago. Yeah, exactly 2 years ago. Exactly 2 years ago pun they did their exam in July 2021, but this was an open book exam, typewritten and handwritten. that was the whole hullabaloo about some people wanted typewritten, some people wanted handwritten. Kena accommodate. All right, so this is question number one. The division of topic two is the same. Yeah. Okay, question number two is the one that I was talking about, where it is a mixture of purpose trust together with duty of trustee. Okay, welcome. Let me share. Okay, can you guys see the question? Boleh?
Boleh, madam.
Yes,
Boleh
ma'am.
So you guys have the same question kan? Okay. So what we're going to do now is I'm going to slowly do the question. If you rasa, I will explain it while I'm doing it. If you rasa macam tertinggal or you feel like I need to slow down, you tell me, okay? If you need further macam, kenapa ada buat macam tu? Then you tell me. Okay? Alright. So ni question number two. As you can see over here, it is 25 marks. Okay. Alright. So let's see first. What does the question want? In March this year, Lynn apprises you on the above facts, meaning she shared with you the facts above, seeks your legal advice on the validity of clause 10 and 11. So you're going to see what is clause 10 and 11. And if she can recover the funds entrusted to Amanda. So basically, she wants you to trace the money lah, whether the money can be traced or not. So from here, you boleh nampak dah macam she tu is the beneficiary or the beneficiary, Amanda ni is the trustee. Okay, so let's look at the question. So with this in mind, it seems like there's a question on clause 10 and 11. Let's look at question at clause 10 and 11. So kita tengok kat sini, Amanda, a close friend of Lynn, is a financial analyst with a stockbroking firm. Lynn is a successful digital artist whose latest digital painting was auctioned online and attracted global interest. So from here, nanti you bawa your highlighter. You can already point out over here. Amanda ni is the trustee. She is a financial analyst with a stockbroking firm. This should already you should be aware of this fact already, because you would have studied that when it comes to a trustee, if he is a professional trustee, his duty of care is actually higher. Okay? So, you dah nampak kat sini, he is a financial analyst with a stockbroking firm. So, does this mean that she is a professional or not? Yes. Kan? So, you dah boleh terus highlight over here. Lynn is a successful digital artist whose latest digital painting was auctioned online and attracted global interest. It was sold to the highest bidder for 5 million ringgit. Okay, so she paints and she does probably all this NFT stuff. She auctioned it and it was sold for 5 million ringgit. Late January 2020, Lynn's husband Adam went on a business trip to Wuhan. Oh, this question was drafted masa time COVID itu. Unfortunately, he was infected with the coronavirus and a week later he passed away. The children of marriage are Tom, 15, 23-year-old Alexia, who is a final year undergraduate at a local university. So kat sini pun you dah boleh highlight because it seems like these people will be the beneficiaries. So we have Tom and we have Alexia. So now the ages are here. You should already know that when one person is 15 years old, meaning he is under the age of majority, meaning the trustee has a duty to maintain him. He needs to provide for his makanan, education, and all of that. So that is contained under Trustee Act. Okay, but we have another person, another beneficiary. She is only 23 years. She is already 23 years old. So as a trustee, you're no longer obliged to maintain a person who is above the age of majority. So kat sini dah clear, Are you guys okay?
Yes, Doctor.
Yeah?
Yes,
Okay.
madam.
So these are the among the things that that I want you to take note masa you dah baca the facts. Okay? Okay. So the housing loan was covered by Adam's insurance policy. So we now know Adam died. Okay? Adam is Lynn's husband, he died. The housing loan was covered by Adam's insurance policy, which settled the balance of the loan, in addition to paying a capital sum of 500,000 ringgit. All right, so he died. He has an insurance policy. Okay? He has an insurance policy. The insurance policy was used to pay off the housing loan. Okay? And then there's from the insurance policy, it seems like there is a balance of 500,000 ringgit. Okay, so from here you dah boleh nampak ada it seems like Lynn, because it says here the sole beneficiary name in the policy is Lynn. So Lynn, as of now, you know that she has 5 million ringgit from the digital painting and she has 500,000 ringgit. Kan? So from here you dah boleh tahu she has 5.5 million. This is Lynn. Okay? And then because Adam died, they tried to see what was his inside his will. They wanted to execute his will. So clause 10, 11, and 13 says, due to the issue of overcrowding of workers' hostel, which caused the spread of the COVID-19 virus, I leave 70,000 ringgit. Presently in a deposit account of JJ Bank UM branch to my trustee John for the construction of or addition cost of a foreign workers hostel in Chowkit, Kuala Lumpur. So it seems that he has created a trust, right, in his will. So who is the beneficiary of this trust? It doesn't seem like there is a clear indication who is the beneficiary, right? But you know that Johnny is holding it as trust for a specific purpose, which is for the construction or contributions towards the cost of a foreign workers hostel. So from here you dah boleh tahu this is a purpose trust, possibly a charitable trust. Anybody wants to guess, take a guess? This falls under which purpose? Under which head of charity?
Of poverty.
Yes, poverty. Foreign workers hostel, especially when it's in Chokit, right? If you have studied further, this is actually a this trust is identical in the case of Niazi. I should know because I was the one who drafted this question. Okay, so when it comes to relief of poverty, even though there is the public benefit element is not there, it is still okay because it falls under relief of poverty. Poverty. Right. So relief of poverty is here. Because you have to determine clause 10 and 11, right? So can we say that, so you have to see lah, you have to number one, prove that this is relief of poverty. And then number two, you can say that public benefit element does not have to be fulfilled. Okay, so you can start over here, describe what is a charitable trust, what is relief, and then explain a bit on relief of poverty. Then you cite case of Niazi. So a foreign worker, just because he's a foreign worker does not mean that he is poor, right? But you can see from the circumstance that the location of the hostel is in Chokit. So we know that in Chokit, if you have foreign workers hostel over there, most likely it's not a place of luxury, right? We can make that assumption. So you have to know lah general knowledge macam Chokit and all this. Okay, you cannot just macam, oh, I tak tahu pun Chokit tu tempat orang miskin. As how old are you guys? 22-year-old, you should not say that. Malu. Okay? All right. So over here, you can prove already that this is a purpose, a charitable trust for purpose of relief of poverty. You can say that it is a valid trust because same situation happened in Riniazi where the court had upheld the validity of the charitable trust, even though it seems like you cannot prove that these foreign workers are actually poor, but the fact that it is located in an area which is housed by people of poor punya upbringing semua tu, it can still be for relief of poverty. Okay, so you don't have to prove public element. Right. So number 11 pula, all my shares in Zio Coins Sdn Bhd to my trustee Jane. So is another trust. Jane is a trustee to create a charitable trust to provide for the advancement of education of children to the employees of my company, Adam Co Sdn Bhd, but preference to be given to the future children of my sister Julia, who is yet to get married. So over here, dah terus straight away, you know that it is a charitable trust for advancement of education. But do you think this is a valid trust? Because you have to prove the public benefit punya element, right? Do you think that this fulfills the public benefit element? Anybody wants to give it a try?
Tak.
Because it's given to, there's a preference given to his nephew or nieces. Kan? So it does not fulfill the public element. So you cite the case of Oppenheim. Okay, so then you can safely say trust not valid. So ni dah you have already dealt with 2 issues. Okay, so by right dah boleh dapat 7 marks dah kat sini. Okay, alright, so we have dealt with this part of the question. So kita dah boleh, oops, can scratch this out already. Now let's continue on with the question, because we have to see what are the funds which has been spent, because we have already established over here that she has 5.5 million ringgit, right? Okay. So soon after the unexpected loss of her husband, Lynn slipped into depression and started receiving psychiatric treatment. A month later, when her friend Amanda visited her, she confided in Amanda that since she is mentally frail and not financially literate, she would appreciate Amanda's help in managing the family's finances. She wanted to transfer a substantial amount of money, which was treated as belonging to all 3 members of family in equal shares. Okay, so she wants herself, right? What's her name? Lynn. She wants her children, her 2 children, to benefit from the money as well. So we know here the children are Tom and Alexia, right? One is 15 years old, and another one is 23 years old. Okay. So after discussing the family's financial assets and needs, Amanda agreed, right? Okay. So from here, has Amanda been appointed as a trustee? Because you have studied with Dr. Mohsin on the appointment of trustees, right? So you prove over here, this should indicate to you that Amanda agreed and promised, meaning Amanda has accepted Lynn's offer to be appointed as a trustee. So now Amanda has all the duties and responsibilities as well as powers in terms in managing the trust. Okay, so this is the instruction. Okay, to manage the proceeds from the sale of the painting and proceeds of the insurance policy. Okay, so kita dah tahu kat sini, so let me just reiterate balik, it is 5.5 million, right? RM 5.5 million, in such a way that the income produced will be more than adequate to cover the family's monthly average expenditure of 10,000 ringgit while enhancing the capital value of the sum entrusted to me. So there's a from here, when we say enhancing capital value, what's the thing that comes to mind? Yes, investment. So there is a specific, even if it's not stated in the trust deed, there is already a duty to invest. But over here, the trust deed, trust instrument specifically says you have to invest the money so that every month my family can get 10,000 ringgit to cover their expenditures. Okay, but from here you can see it does not actually say, so you ambil lah your highlighter, you highlight the instruction so that you tak lupa. From here you can see that there is no instruction. Even though there is instruction to invest, there is no instruction on where to invest, right? So if there is no instruction on where to invest, trustee kena use which source to determine where can he invest the money? Anyone? He has to refer to, Amanda ni has to refer to the
Trustee Act.
Trustee Act. Okay, so if she wants to invest, when she wants to invest, she has to make sure that it does not contravene section 4, 5, 6, 9, 11 of the Trustee Act. And then we should also know already that Amanda is a financial analyst with a stockbroking firm. She should know all of this already. She is a professional. Okay. So Lynn thanked Amanda, and on 25th February, she transferred the proceeds of the auction and insurance policy to Amanda through online banking to an account named Lynn Investment Trust, operated by Amanda. So from here, we can see that all the money is inside this account. So it is not inside Amanda's personal account. Okay. Oops. Terhilang. Let's do this again. It is now inside Lynn Investment Trust, operated by Amanda. So Amanda is the one who manages this account. It's called Lynn Investment Trust. Okay, because you cannot commingle the funds. It has to be kept separately. Even when you studied trust, commercial law, right? We have learned about the Romapa clause. Romapa clause, one of it is you must a person who is the trustee, right? The buyer, right? Any proceeds that he gets from the sale from the property of the seller, he must keep it in a separate account. And so same like this. So Amanda has developed a keen interest in cryptocurrencies and fintech instruments. Okay, so ni dia dah start dangerous kat sini lah. She purchased 6 bitcoins, each costing 60,000 ringgit. Okay, so over here you dah kena buat your math. She bought 6 bitcoins, each costing 60,000 ringgit. So 60k times 6, right? So berapa?
360,000.
So over here you dah boleh nampak that from the 5.5 million, right, inside Lynn Investment Trust, 360k has been spent on buying bitcoins. Okay, now you open your Trustee Act, you go to section 4. Is investment through Bitcoin, is it allowed or not? Cuba tengok. Okay, tak ada. I'm just going to say so that we don't waste time. There is no provision under section 4 onwards under section 11 which allows a trustee to invest the trust property through digital punya investment ni, because when it comes to Bitcoin, we all know it is very speculative, it is very risky. Okay, so this from here, we can say that there is a breach because this is unauthorized, we call it unauthorized investment. Okay, because it is against the authorized investment under section 4, 5, 6, 9, 11. Okay? All right. So from here kita dah tahu we can actually claim from Amanda for this amount of money. Okay, how do I correct? So this is unauthorized investment. Kalau you tengok section 4, right, the heading says authorized investment. So if it is not under that list, we call it unauthorized investment. Okay, so she bought it for 60,000. It peaked at 62, but then it went back to 60. So at this point of time, she did not, the trust property did not incur loss yet, but we can see that they boleh, on the same day, they boleh go up and down, up and down. So that means this is very, very speculative, very risky. Okay. So this is an indication already on the nature of the investment. Okay, next is she loaned 1 million ringgit to Durian West Sdn Bhd. So are you allowed to loan trust money? You as a trustee, are you allowed to loan trust money to other people or not? Cuba check, boleh tak? The answer is no. It has to be, I think it's under section there's one section, one provision, nanti you check balik, under the Trustee Act, you can loan money, but it has to be secured. Okay, and then even if it's secured, there has to be like only to a specific macam company. But it needs to be secured, meaning you have to create a charge over it ke apa. In case the person cannot pay back, at least you can recoup your money balik. Okay, but in this case, she said Amanda loaned 1 million to Durian West Sdn Bhd DVSB. Okay, so kalau kita do our math, 5.5 million dah tolak 360k, tolak lagi 1 million. This is what she has spent so far. In a peer-to-peer transaction, which promised to pay 12% interest per annum. So this is also unauthorized because it is not allowed under the Trustee Act. Also unauthorized investment. Okay. She thought the yield of 130,000 per annum will be adequate to provide Lynn with her monthly expenditure of 10,000 ringgit. Okay, sebab kalau lah 1 million, 12% of 1 million by right, if let's say this investment was worthwhile, she should get 120,000 ringgit. So she says, okay, she was thinking as a trustee, because she has to pay 10,000 per month to Lynn and her family, right? This should be enough lah. Just by this investment alone, it should be able to cover the trustees, the beneficiaries. However, we still cannot deny that this is a breach, right? Because it is an investment which is unauthorized. It's not allowed under any of the provisions under the Trustee Act. Okay, what else did she do? She invested 500,000 ringgit in Singret. So it's a REIT listed in the Singapore Exchange, which owned several hotels in Singapore. You should know what is a REIT because this was also covered by Dr. Zahidul, right? This is real estate investment. Okay? Real estate investment, is it allowed or not under the Trustee Act? You have to determine this. So I hope, walaupun you don't actually, unit trust and all the commercial trust which was taught by Dr. Zahidul, even though it is not a topic in itself which will come out, but you should familiarize yourself with the stuff that he has said, because you will face macam tu lah in the question. Real estate investment trust, kan? REIT, real estate investment trust. Lepas tu there's also unit trust, the one that we saw just now. So all of that should not be an alien concept to you. Okay, so can you invest in real estate? Singapore Exchange, because this is a foreign jurisdiction lagi, are you allowed to invest in a real estate investment outside of Malaysia. Is that allowed? If you notice under Section 4 and stuff, they do allow investment dekat Singapore pun okay. Because dulu Singapore used to be part of Malaysia. You tengok pun our Trustee Act is from 1949. Okay, up to now, the list of authorized investment has not been updated. So sebenarnya there should be a call for these trusts, these investments to be updated. Okay, because sometimes if you do not allow other types of investment, you're not allowing the trustee untuk explore other types of investment, which might be in the future is still stable, because it's backed up by this, but because it's not listed under Section 4, therefore dia dah tak boleh, dia dah breach his duty. So itulah. So the REIT is for hotels in Singapore. So she has invested 500,000. So yang ni you can sambung. So dia dah spend 1 million, tolak lagi 500k. Okay. The following month, she transferred 300,000 of the trust money, 300,000 inside her own bank account. So from here, you do your math. If you guys do your math, tinggal berapa ni? Can somebody do the math? 5.5 tolak 360 tolak 1 million tolak 500k tolak 300k.
3.34 million.
Okay, so from here, from 3, okay, so now inside the trust account, there is only 3.34 million. 343 million. Because the money, so this is the money that is left in the account. She withdrew, 300 million, she put it in her own bank account, which has 10,000. So now this is a different bank account. This is Amanda's bank account, which has 10k, already her money, campur, so this is her own. And then we have her own money, 10k. And then we have our trust, 300k. 300k. So the money inside first, right? Kalau ikut Rehalit, if she was to spend pun, the presumption is she spends her own money dulu. So you dah perlu ingat dah Rehalit. Okay? And then in April 5th, in March, so this is March. This was in March, she put in. Are you guys all still following me?
Yes, Doctor.
Okay. So in March, her own money is 10k. In March, she put 300k. Because what we're trying to do now, at this point of time, we're trying to make sense of the facts. Okay, so that you can answer your question after this. 300k. And then in April, she put a money belonging to her own client, which is 50k. So in this amount, in this account, there's commingling of funds. There's her money, there's the trust money, and there's the money by Sen, who is a third party. Okay. So from this same account, mana pencil lah dalam ni. In this same account, she has withdrawn 25k to purchase a very powerful computer capable of processing complex information system. Okay, so dia dah spend from the ni, she spends 25k. So from here we know already, she has used her money dah. Betul? She used her own money, 10k. And then the balance 15k came from this trust property. Then because this is the FIFO rule, Clayton, first in, first out. So the money that was first put in March is the trust money. So now she has also breached by spending the trust money to buy this powerful computer for her own self. Okay? And then tak cukup dengan she used 25k from, so since 10k is from her, so we can say that 15k is from the trust, and then she spent another 300,000, 300k to buy a software, and spend another 10k on online personal half-day training session. So she went for training, she spent another 10k. So by right, yang ni, if you add 15k plus 300k, she has already used up the trust property. Do you guys see it? Do you guys understand?
Faham.
Faham, eh? So now she spent another 10k. That money is now from Sen's money, which he credited in April if you use the FIFO rule. First in, first out. So first in is her money, and then the trust money, and then so trust money dah habis, all 300k spent on the computer and the system. The balance from the 10k tu dia ambil daripada duit Sen. Okay? Right. Okay. Now you dah tahu where did all the money go. Okay, you dah keep track of all the money. So by August 2020, she had not received any money. She called Amanda, who reassured her that everything was in order, and very soon lots of money was coming from the investment she had made. Lynn warned her that Alexia had already graduated and she will need 100,000 in December to pay for postgraduate costs, without which she will not be able to pursue her dream of a career in molecular pharmacology. So this is already another issue, because now we have a beneficiary who is Alexia. Is she a minor or not? She is not, right? So he has no duty to maintain her. But if you remember section, I can't remember the section. She has the power of providing advancement. Okay, if the person is wants money more than what she should be allocated, the trustee has the power to give advancement. However, it is upon her own discretion whether the trustee wants to give or not. It's not a necessity that if you ask, I have to give. It's not an obligation. It is under the discretion of the trustee to give advancement to the beneficiary or to refuse it. Okay, so nanti you have to, so this will be an issue. Okay, so knowing that, so you should already know, right? There's this power of advancement. So you tengok kat sini, is it okay whether Amanda has breached her duty kejap eh. Because she did, kat sini dia tak tulis if she wanted to give or not. Because we can just assume that she did not give. Okay, whether Amanda has breached her duty if she refused to give the advancement of RM 100k to Alexia. Okay, so this will be an issue that you have to discuss. This is on power of advancement. Somebody tolong bagi tahu ni bawah section berapa? 37, is it? Anyone?
Yes, 37.
Yes, 37. I still remember. Okay. All right. So now this is an issue that you have to deal with. So let's color it a different color. Oops. Okay. In September, okay, so this is what happened to all the investments that she had made. The price of Bitcoin had dropped to 30k each. So she had spent 60k each, kan? But now it has dropped half the price. So the money, she has suffered loss, yeah? So from 300k, now what is left of the money is only
180K.
Yes, 180K. Furthermore, DVSB was unable to make profit as a viral infection had spread to most of the trees on its 100-acre plantation. So DVSB was the loan that she had given from the trust property. She had given a loan, tapi the company could not pay back. Okay, so now we see loss here, value of Singrit. This is the real estate investment in Singapore. Pun, it fell by 50% because the hotel industry suffered massive loss during COVID. Okay, the circular was sent to the investor warning them that there will be no yield for the next 2 years. So what do you have to do later? Because the question will ask if she can recover the funds. You have to determine the value of all the money that she has lost. The investment to how much did it lose? Because then your advice will be you want to bring a personal action against Amanda for the investment. Number satu, unauthorized investment because she has breached. Number two, the losses incurred by the investment. Okay. Amanda then discovered that both the computer and the software were outdated. So this is the one that she bought over here, computer over here. And there were competitors in the market who could execute high frequency trading faster than her. So her training went macam tak berguna lah, right? The training was useless. The software pun was useless. 300. So all this 25,000, 300,000, 10,000 ni was all lost. Okay. When Lynn tried to call Amanda again in December, the telephone was disconnected. She wrote to Amanda by registered mail warning her unless she responds and provides an account of how the money is being managed, she will lodge a police report and start legal proceeding against her. Okay. So now we see, from what we can conclude, all the money that she has invested suffered loss. Right? So the main issue now is they want to see whether you can recover the funds entrusted to Amanda or not. Okay. So in terms of yang ni kita dah identify, right? There is a breach. So okay, to start, okay. Sorry, how to answer this question? To answer this question, you have to, number one, establish that there is a trustee relationship. Establish that, Amanda is a trustee. Okay, so we can look at, and then you relate to these facts over here. Amanda agreed and promised, Okay, so over here you state how the trustee is appointed, and then you apply lah. So over here, establish that Amanda is now a trustee. Therefore, she owes duty towards the beneficiaries and towards the trust. Okay. Once you have established that, and then what you do is you establish. We know that all of this involves investment, right? So before you want to talk about her breaches in terms of investment, you must identify what type of trustee is she. Is she a professional trustee or is she just an ordinary trustee? So establish her what type of trustee she falls under. So looking at this, she is a financial analyst with a stockbroking firm. So this type of person, we would presume that they know how to do everything, kan? Okay, so she is, she is financial analyst. So she is a professional professional who has been appointed as a trustee. So over here, this is the important part, yeah? You have to state, yeah, her degree of duty of care. Okay? Duty of care when it comes to investing. When it comes to investing, sorry. You guys still following me? So these are the steps that you do first, yeah, before you actually deal with the question. Ish. Dah slow dah. So basically, sekejap my laptop dah frozen. Sekejap, I think I'm gonna open a Word and then I'll type over there. Sekejap stop presenting. Should I share my screen? Should share my screen, I think. Your entire screen. Okay, so I'm gonna open this one. This one here. Sekejap open a new one. Okay. So let me just copy all of this. Okay, so this is how to answer. Can you guys see my screen?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, so clear. So how to answer? Number one, establish Amanda is a trustee. How a trustee is appointed. Establish what type of trustee she falls under. So she's a financial analyst. So she is a professional. Okay. So duty of care when it comes to a professional, you have to cite the case of Ree Whiteley. Can somebody look at the case of Ree Whiteley? Ree Whiteley, and then ada lagi case Barclays ke? This one. Ree Whiteley. Ni. This is when it comes to an ordinary, if the person is not a professional, right? Under Speed and Gaunt, the duty of care is just an ordinary prudent man of business would take care in managing single affairs of its own. Okay? Tetapi, when it comes to, okay, so this is what Ree Whiteley says. But in our case, because she is a professional, we refer to Bartlett and Barclay. Okay, under Bartlett and Barclay, it says, this is what the judge says. I am of the opinion that a higher duty of care is plainly due from someone like a trust corporation, which carries a specialized business of trust management. Okay, so the degree is higher. She has to prove, she doesn't even have to prove that, oh, I consulted somebody and the person said it's okay. So there's a higher burden on her, duty of care from her to make sure that the investments are not operating at a loss and to not be engaged in speculative punya investments. Okay, so now that established Amanda as a trustee, you now have to establish her duty of care, right? So you have laid this down. So now you want to establish, identify, now it is the time for you. Identify the breaches. Okay, So the first breach that we have already looked over here is when it comes to investment, right? Duty to invest. We have established from the facts that she has. So your issue is whether Amanda has engaged in unauthorized investment in contravention to provisions under the Trustee Act 1949. So that will be your first issue, because first you have to identify the breaches, and then only then you can say that, okay, this money, as a remedy, we can claim the money through tracing. So these are the money that we can trace. So before you can do that, you have to identify first the duties that she has breached. Okay, so the first, the one that we have established just now, the Bitcoins, right? Not, so this is, so you make reference to, all of this make reference to section 4, 5, 6, 9, 11. Okay, Bitcoins does not fall under any. So you can prove that it is unauthorized. Okay, and then we saw the loan, right? Can she provide loan? She can provide loan. I think section berapa ya? If you guys look, she can provide loan, tapi it has to be charged and it has to be macam allowed by the YDPA or something like that. Okay, so loan refer again to provision under section 9. Cuba tengok section 9 cakap apa 4, 5, 6, 4, 5, 6, 12, 15. Sorry. 12, 15. Section 6. Section 6 cakap apa? My Trustee Act.
Duty trustees to choose investment.
Oh, okay. So duty, further powers, sekejap security, choosing. Okay. Under section 6, it says duty must diversify the investment. You cannot just invest in one place. So that's not relevant to us. Statutory. Okay. Section 12, sorry. When it comes to loans, it's under section 12. Section 12 says loans and investment by trustee not chargeable as breach of trust. If you don't create a charge when you lend money, you don't create a security, it is deemed as a breach of trust. Okay? Understand that, everyone?
Faham.
And then there's also the requirement the amount of the loan should not exceed 2/3 parts of the value of the property. Semua itulah. Right? And then lagi, what did she do? She invested in real estate, invested in REIT. Is this allowed? By right, this should, when it comes to so kalau you tengok section 4, right? A trustee may invest any trust funds in his hands, whether at a time in a state of investment, in a manner of the following. If you want to invest in titles to immovable properties in Malaysia, see, even over here, it says it needs to be in Malaysia. Okay? So if you do it dekat Singapore, then there should be a problem as well. Under section 5 pun, it's on unit trust. So the unit trust should be in Malaysia as well. Stock Exchange of Malaysia, not Stock Exchange in Singapore. Right, so this falls under section 5. Also unauthorized because it is in Singapore. Because it's in Singapore. So this is under section 5. Okay, so ni dah breach. Right. So that's the first one. Okay. So from here you can safely say Amanda has breached her duty and has failed to exercise higher duty of care as provided under the case of Bartlett when she you elaborate lah. Okay. Right. So from here, you calculate all the losses that she has, because we saw over here that they have made a loss, right? So now what you do is you calculate the amount lost, okay, and then you can advise for her to claim directly from the. So ni bukan Amanda, this is Lynn. Lynn acquire to claim from Amanda through personal seek damages as well. Okay. Okay, seek for compensation and damages. And damages. Okay. So ada, and then you give authority juga, authority. Okay. Oh, sorry. There's another thing that you need to deal juga. Over here, before you drill number 4, you cakap pasal duty to invest, right? Over here, you give a statement on why is there a need to invest. Okay, then you provide authority pertaining to duty to invest. There's necessity to invest. Okay, necessity to invest, and then this will be your opening lah. Okay, and then you can relate this to duty towards beneficiary. Okay, because you have already established that we have 3 beneficiaries. One is Lynn, right? And the other 2 are the children. Kan? So you have to identify Lynn. Is she the remainderment, or is she the remainderment? What's the other word? Ya Allah, my brain dah. So identify who is remainderment. Remainderment. And that's the other thing. So you should, sorry? Life tenant. Sorry. Okay. Life tenant. So you check up yang he has to invest the money to ensure that even the remainderment will be able to enjoy the proceeds of the trust. Okay. So you dah kena make reference, acknowledge over here basically is to acknowledge the presence of the children as beneficiaries. Okay. So that will be point number 5. Okay, and then this will be point number 6. Okay. So calculate the amount lost. So this will be your application. Right, when you calculate the amount lost, and then this will be your conclusion as well for this particular issue. So this will be number 7. Okay, that's the first, that's that step for that issue. Okay, now it is whether Amanda this is this issue, right? And then we're going to now deal with this other main issue, which is whether Amanda has breached her duty when she has deposited the trust money into her own personal account. Okay, So then you cite authority on commingling of funds is a breach of trust. Okay. And then you pun buatlah. You explain again from the facts. No, reiterate the facts on how the trust money has mingled with money
Excuse me, madam, but you are muted.
Okay, sorry. Can you hear me now?
Yes, madam.
But I'm not sharing my screen. You guys have been quiet the whole time.
It's been. I thought you were having some kind of internet issues.
Oh, really?
Uh,
Oh, okay, so I'm back now. So where did you guys lose me?
Before citing authority.
Citing authority about commingling.
Uh-huh.
Ya Allah, I've been talking to myself barely. Okay. So, so kita dah tahu, right, from here that the money, there's commingling of funds. So you cite authority which says that commingling of fund is a breach of trust. Okay, so and then you reiterate the facts on how the commingling had happened, right? And then you identify it has been good with whose money. So it is Amanda's money as well as Sen's money, right? One of the clients of Amanda, his name is Sen. So his money is also in that account. Okay, and then your conclusion will be that Amanda is liable for breach of trust. So how do you claim, right? How do you get back this money? So you can propose, because the question says apprises you on the above facts and seeks your legal advice. So you will propose that you do tracing, right? You do tracing under equity for Amanda's account. But before you want to propose for tracing, you have to fulfill the requirements of tracing under equity. So there are 3 requirements. Number 1, you have to prove that there is breach of fiduciary duty, right? So the answer to that is yes already, because you can refer to this, right? The authority on commingling of fund is breach of trust. Number 2 is the property traceable. So when it comes to the company, the computer and the software, we can safely say it is still there, right? The computer is still there, the software is still there, so you can trace it. However, because she has also used part of the money for training, there might be a problem with that. So you cannot trace. Then number 3, the third requirement is not against public policy or rules of equity. Okay, so now you have said you have recommended you can do tracing. So this is the thing that we did just now, the tracing too. So we have looked just now, Amanda's account, her own ada 10K. In March, she put in the trust money. In April, she put her client's money amounting to 50K, right? So she has first spent 15K. So that means she has already spent her own money. So yang ni, you can explain and then you said the case of Rehalit. Right, Rehalit, which says if a person was to spend money, the presumption is he has spent his own money first from the account, the commingling of funds. So the subsequent purchase of what is it? 25, so 15, so 5K, 15K will be, so 300K ni, 300K, 15 will be from the computer, betul will be from the purchase of the computer and then also the software. 300K for the software. So yang ni tinggal berapa duit? 315K minus 300K. So sebenarnya dia dah spend a bit of the client's money. The remainder tu, 10 plus 15K tu is from the client's money, tapi pokoknya the trust money has all been spent. Okay? So this is what you have to prove. She has spent all of the trust money buying the computer as well as the software. Yang this money spent on the training ni pun, it is actually coming from the client's money. So macam tak apalah, it's lost already. So that is between the client and Amanda. But that means the trust has interest on the computer as well as the software system. Tapi then again, part of the money for the purchase of the software system also came from the client's money. So you cannot, the trust cannot claim totally claim all of the value of the trust of the software. Do you guys get me? Faham tak? Faham kan? So from here, you will advise, so ni you're gonna Rehalit, and then all of this ni, the one that we just did, you cite the case of Clayton and Otway for your case, which talks about first in, first out. We call it the FIFO rule. From there, when you apply all of this, you can safely say that the trust has interest over the computer and software. Computer and part of software. Computer and part of software. Tapi sekarang what happened was the computer and software were outdated. Right? So the value of those computer and the software, we can presume dah tak ada value. No more value. Okay, so no more value. What you can advise is Amanda should try to sell all the computer and software, and the money has to be given back to the trust. Okay, and then any money, because obviously it will not amount to 300K, so she has to top up the balance. So that will be your answer. Okay, your conclusion for this issue in tracing the money under Amanda's account. Faham?
Faham.
Lepas tu, another breach over here is she did not provide information and whatnot semua tu kan. But because if if you look at the facts here, she did not return the phone call. She did not want to give an account. But then again, these are all issues which do not have to be addressed because the question only asks if she can recover the funds entrusted to Amanda. Okay? So tak payah pun deal with issue of not providing information and not giving information, whatever tu lah. Okay? So by right, you this one pun dah answers all of the question. Faham ke? I hope you guys faham. And then you write lah your conclusion. Conclusion, Amanda has breached her duty in terms of in terms of her involvement in unauthorized investment as well as co-mingling of funds. For the losses incurred due to the unauthorized investment, Lynn should bring a personal action towards Amanda. Okay. So sell off all of the investment and then Amanda to top up the difference, which is the loss incurred. So this is for that. For the losses incurred for the breach involving co-mingling of funds. The amount is traced to the purchase of the computer and the software part of it. By using the rules under alert and Otway, amount is traced by using the rule to the purchase of computer and software. However, since the value of the two items have depreciated, Lynn should recover for. Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
From?
Yes, madam.
I either to keluar balik atau I'm just talking to myself again. Okay? Personal action again. So that is the conclusion. Faham So you dah establish kat sini the money. You dah tahu the money tu it should be 5.5 million ringgit. Right? So this is for this one. Right? So you state kat sini balik original money is 5.5 million. Okay? So tolak whatever the money that is left. No, that was spent to invest, the unauthorized investment, and then any losses tu kena top up balik. So basically dia kena ada 5.5 million balik sebenarnya plus interest. Because let's say if Amanda was not able to pay next year or the year after that, we can already say that the trust has lost money, because by right, kalau lah you invest, right, you can get interest, so that is deemed as profit as well. So you can actually claim plus the money that should be back in the trust property is the 5.5 million plus potential interest. Potential interest that can be gained from the from the loss, from the duration of payment of payback from Amanda. Okay? Sebab dia tak boleh macam, oh okay, I owe you 5 million, I will pay you back in 20 years, 5.5 million. You have to take into consideration the, inflation and whatnot semua tu. So it will be 5.5 million plus. Okay, guys? So the math itself does not have to be correct. You just have to show that macam ni lah, you just buat macam 300 tolak 15k tolak 300k, and then this is the money macam ni. Because over here we dah boleh nampak kan, we're not actually doing the actual math, but we already know the money tu represents apa. Understand? So I think I will save this and I will do you guys want it? Because dia macam sangat terabur.
Not, madam. Madam, one question. Can we bring our calculator?
You want to bring your calculator?
Mm.
Boleh kot. Boleh lah.
Okay, thank you, Doctor.
Okay. Right. So all of this, nanti I'll share it in the group. Okay. Are there other students from other sections who are in this session? If there are, nanti you ask from students from my section, yeah, for this one. Tapi faham
Faham, madam.
Okay, Alhamdulillah. So hopefully you guys bolehlah jawab soalan ni, ya. Harapannya. Kalau you tak dapat jawab fully pun tak apa. At least you can identify the issues, dapat half mark pun tak apa. Okay?
Okay.
Alright. Okay. Yeah? Ada somebody?
Soalan in regards to the what type of trustee she falls under tu kan. So dia financial analyst, which is the professional. And Madam cakap we have to cite the case of Bartley kan.
Yes.
But at the same time, do we need to cite Whiteley?
If kalau she is not an ordinary trustee, tak payah. You just straight away indicate that she is a professional, therefore her duty of care is actually higher. Macam tu je. And then, in your conclusion ni, you can say a person
Doctor, you
I
muted.
cut off kat mana tadi?
Dekat conclusion.
Dekat conclusion. Oh, so I was saying at the conclusion, you relate to the duty of trustee. Okay. Lepas tu, as long as you do that, if in the event Dr. Mohsin is the one who marks your paper, then dia dah happy. He likes it when you relate all of this to macam duty of care, and then you cakap balik the position of the beneficiaries, who can actually claim from it. So the beneficiaries boleh bring an action. So the beneficiaries will include both the wife, right, the widow, and the 2 children. Semua tu lah. So dia suka. So the person who marks question 2 could either be Dr. Mohsin or myself. I don't know if you guys caught that, or maybe masa by that time I dah tercut off. So itulah, for part A Dr. Zahidul akan mark, maybe Dr. Zuraida. For part B it will be me dengan Dr. Mohsin. Dia macam tu. So ikut laki you lah siapa akan mark your paper. Tapi we're all guided by the answer scheme, so by right sepatutnya okay je. It's just that some people are a bit more generous compared to others. Itulah. Okay? So if there is a request to do another session, I tengok dulu kalau I nak layan ke tak, but hopefully ni dah cukup. Okay? Ada apa-apa soalan? Any questions?
Madam,
Yeah.
kenapa tak ikut lecturer?
Kenapa bukan ikut lecturer yang mark? Because it's team teaching. Because the questions ni pun are also contributed by different lecturers. Macam me and Dr. Mohsin, we were the ones who drafted question number 2. So by right, we should know like what, because kalau you tengok pun yang mengajar that part is me dengan Dr. Mohsin kan. So we should know better in terms of what should be included in your answer. As opposed to kalau Dr. Syuhada or Dr. Zahidul yang mark. Macam tu lah. Lagipun there's 270 of you guys. Do you guys know that? There's 270. Dr. Syuhada is taking 100 students. So macam kalau dia seorang nak mark 100 papers, kesian jugalah. So we split among us. 5 of us. Okay? Alright.
Okay.
Alright, so parting words. Thank you so much everyone, for the attention. I hope you guys have benefited. So please be mindful and study hard. Okay, all the best for the exams. Tadi for commercial law, I think some of you joined commercial law. I taught them how to do analysis. So hopefully, kalau you guys were involved in my commercial law class, you can, exercise the skill that you have learned this morning in answering the trust question as well lah. That will be useful. Other than that, tu je lah. Okay? So all the best. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Enjoy your weekend and your Raya Haji.